I was at the most interesting concert I've ever been to, at least at this point in my life. Which this would have been 2 days ago. Yeah, Friday. And so me and Riley, Noah's younger brother, I think I've mentioned him at one point. He's actually going to be helping me today set up the studio because I finally got basically everything I need when it comes to all the equipment and electronics to actually move everything and set a lot of stuff up. Where next week I will be recording in there. Uh, as of having a video recording, maybe not yet. Still trying to figure out what exactly I want to do with that one. But yes, it's coming along. Uh, so I was able to take him to the Logic Wiz Khalifa concert Friday night, and it was his first ever concert. Uh, I've seen Logic in the past. Logic was my, I'm gonna say, official concert because it was the one I paid tickets for and I chose to go see, and that was in 2018. So this was a long time ago at this point. So it was really cool to go see him in concert again. And so I was able to convince him to go. I wasn't sure if he's going to be able to go, but it was quite amazing. The concert was awesome. Probably the best like vibe ever in the sense of the atmosphere for the concert was great. Like every concert you go to, like there's typically a really good atmosphere, but like everybody was just having a good time and was hyped up and was just having a lot of fun. And I mean that's typical at most concerts, but I feel like this one was very, I guess maybe a little more. I don't know. I think part of it is the music. Like it also depends on the artist and how things are. Like for Machine Gun Kelly, it's not as hyped because it's kind of rock. So it it was like a rock album. So it was a little different in the sense of um like the overall mood. Everybody was having a great time, but it wasn't like people weren't jumping up and down. People weren't like just jamming and dancing and doing as much when it comes to that stuff. People were just like in the moment, loving the music, loving the performance. And like when I went to NF, he's also last year, he's a great performer and a great rapper, but his stuff is a lot different with his music is very heavy hitting in the sense of his lyrics and his passion and his overall like uh what's the word I'm looking for right here, like I guess his overall message and his music is a lot different, and it's not just like hype music. It's not music you listen to when you're necessarily at a club, stuff like that. He's an amazing artist, but it's like that's not his type. It's not his style, and so his and also it was just a less people at that concert in comparison. It was really like just good, but in general the concert was great. I was actually able to get drinks this time, thank God. I mean, I would have had fun either way, but it was nice too. Because I don't know if I mentioned on the last podcast when I went to MGK, I did not know until that night, and I found out my card was expired, and so I couldn't get a drink. And I think I had the same bartender there because she said she was there for Machine Gun Kelly, actually make me a drink that night. So that was kind of interesting. Obviously, she sees so many people, she wasn't gonna remember me. So I was actually able to drink a little bit that night, which technically would be the first time I actually drank at a concert. Um, but it was a lot of fun. It was great. So Logic was the one that ended up coming out first, and his performance was sick. And just like he did last time I saw him, at one point he came out and he's like, "Guys, this isn't the damn energy I need." It's like what like I don't care if you don't know the lyrics, fucking get into it. Like move your arms, jump up and down, like something. It's like I wanna feel and vibe off of you guys as much as you do me. So it was really cool. He played a lot of music. surprisingly, I don't feel like he played a lot from the album that he's technically touring, but I think part of that was just him not touring for 3 years. He played some of his bigger hits, and it was a lot of fun. Like, Logic was sick, just like he was when I saw him years ago. Not as much as not too much like playing off the audience as he did when he was here last time, but it also wasn't his event, so he was on a time clock in the sense of like he wasn't the one closing the show. Um, so he wasn't necessarily like spending time in between sets doing shit as much. But he was actually sick, and he said he even had a fever that day, so he wasn't able to perform like he wanted to. But even then, he did really, really, really well. Um, and at one point, he was just having a good time and showing everybody else. He pulled out a t-shirt cannon and was launching shit. He actually pointed out someone in the front row that he recognized, I think, from another concert or somewhere. And I swear it was something similar to what happened when I saw him in 2018, where I think it was someone that saw him in Chicago doing something, and he gave her one of everything from the merch store for the evening, which is sick. And so he did that, and it was just a sick performance. I mean, he played Gang Related, which he wrote like, I don't even know, 6-7 years ago or something, like old stuff. He played a great variety in it. It was a amazing performance. I can't wait to see Logic again. I want to go to another Wiz concert, because as we get into this, you'll figure out why. But so they had, surprisingly, because this is the first time I ever had it, this was the first co tour that I've ever really seen. So they actually had like an intermission between Logic and Wiz, and they had a DJ come on, and he was playing some I can't even remember what songs he was playing, but he was just getting everybody hyped up as hell, going nuts, and people were just dancing and vibing, and it was a lot of fun. Met a few people. A lot of people were drinking. Like, I was, even though I had a few, I was fine in comparison, because there were some people. I mean, it's a concert. What do you expect? And considering who was there, between the amount of weed in the air and the amount of alcohol down people's throats, it was ridiculous. But met a guy named Donnie. I think he said it was his first concert, just like Riley's. So shout out to Donnie. He seemed pretty cool. He was having a good time. And then we met this other girl named Ella. So hopefully she got home all right. She had definitely been drinking, and at one point had actually picked up an empty beer can off the ground that had been crushed, because I guess she either lost or didn't have her phone on her. And it was during a song, I think it was one of Logic's last songs, where he wanted everybody to pull their phones out and like wave them in the air. So she's like, and then she looks over at me and Riley and was like, this will do. I'll have my phone. And she just started like waving a crushed beer can in the air like you would your phone with your flashlight out. So she was cracking us up. But she seemed to be having a great time. And then eventually she ended up kind of like coming over and talking to us. She kept getting our names mixed up, for one, but then she for some reason was trying to blow up the beer can back to its original form. I don't know why, but she was trying to say that she needed a bottle or something. And so she had tried getting us to blow the can up, which we obliged, just because it was like, sure. Like we both thought it was ridiculous, but it had us laughing the whole time. So that we would try to blow this can up. It's a beer can. It's not a water bottle, so you're not going to be able to do that very well. I mean, it was able to regain some shape, but she just kept like passing it between us. I was like, okay, your turn. All right, your turn. Until we kind of had it resembling a beer can again, which was hilarious. And at one point, when Wiz came out, which was spectacular, um, just the show and his atmosphere, and he was just in it, and he looked sick up on stage, and he was ready to have a good time, and he played a certain song, and Ella, I think he's playing "You and Your Friends," and Ella, the girl I was just talking about, she grabbed me around the neck, like putting her arm around me, but was basically kind of holding me in a chokehold in a headlock, dancing to the song. And at one point, I could tell her friends were just trying to keep her under control, because she was having a great time, but she was definitely either can't handle her alcohol or had drank more than everybody else. And so she was at one point talking to us, and then at one point she like jumped into another group of people and just like joined the group and just started like dancing and stuff. I think at one point I saw her end up on someone's shoulders. Like, she was having a good time. And Wiz, his performance was absolutely like ridiculous. And at one point he he was just standing there like stripping and licking the air, which was interesting to say the least. And all the girls like yelling and shit. It was interesting, and Riley's just like, "What the fuck is happening?" And at one point he threw like a bunch of inflatable like balloons that were joints, and I think it was uh what it was for his weed brand or something. And then he like something you would get like playing a carnival game, and they like threw those off stage and a bunch of stuff like that. And then in between one of the songs, I can't even remember which song it was. I kind of wish I recorded it, but he grabbed a smoke cannon, put it between his legs, was stroking the gun, and spraying smoke out the end of it. And then at one point ended up on the ground, basically humping the air, spraying smoke from his crotch with the smoke gun. And I think everybody was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? But it was like laughing and cheering, and it was just hilarious because it's like, what the, like, exactly like what the fuck's happening right now? And it was just cracking everybody up because I don't think anybody was expecting that, but it was really really funny. And at one point he did end up shirtless,